Welcome to the AI for Creatives, the show that gives you a shortcut to being well informed about user experience and AI, cutting through the noise to deliver the insights you need.
Today, we're tackling something you're probably hearing a lot about, maybe even using already AI. But the big question is, how does it really fit into your day to day workflow, especially if you're in a creative field, where that human touch is so crucial?
Yeah, how do you blend it in without losing what makes your work? Well, yours precisely. So today we're diving deep into exactly that. We've got a real world scenario, a sort of day by day account that grounds the whole discussion.
And this isn't just abstract talk. We're unpacking an article from Smashing Magazine by Lyndon Riggio called A Week in the Life of an AI Augmented Designer.
Right? It follows a designer step by step as she tries to integrate AI into a pretty demanding project. It's very practical.
That's our mission for this deep dive, really, to pull out the key lessons from her actual experience.
We'll look at the wins, the frustrations, those aha moments, and what she figured out about, staying human while using these powerful machines.
The goal is to give you a kind of blueprint, a shortcut to understanding how AI could boost your own work without just blindly adopting the tech or losing your core skills. It helps to remember the context here. Think back to November 2022.
Ah, yes, the Chat GPT launch.
Exactly. That's when AI suddenly became conversational. Something you could chat with. It exploded.
Oh, definitely. One of the most downloaded apps, like almost overnight, which just shows how many people are now comfortable, or at least experimenting with using AI for thinking, planning, creating. It's changed things.
It really has. And for lots of folks, especially in creative roles like UX design, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, hasn't it?
For sure. The article calls it the AI induced uncertainty curve. It's kind of like that Kubler Ross model, but for tech disruption. So you see designers going through stages.
Yeah, first maybe denial, or the I can't really design, then maybe anger. This is gonna ruin creativity, followed by bargaining. Okay, maybe I'll use it for the tedious stuff, right? And sometimes that slides into feeling a bit down or overwhelmed, but eventually many seem to land on acceptance.
Acceptance being,
Realizing, okay, it can actually free me up, it can handle some tasks, letting me focus on the more strategic, human centered parts of the job.
so the conversation shifts from if we should use AI to how. How do you use it effectively? As a partner, not just a shortcut button.
Okay, let's bring in our main character for this story, Kate. Tell us about her.
So, Kate's a mid level designer at a fintech company. Picture this, she's got this huge digital mountain of user feedback to sift through,
Being there, right?
and her LinkedIn feed is just full of people talking about their AI wins. But she hasn't quite figured out for herself yet. She's not against AI.
Yeah, just unsure how to actually make it work in her process.
Exactly. So she decides to use an upcoming project, a solo wish design sprint, as her testing ground,
What's the project?
improving financial confidence for Gen Z users within their app. A perfect challenge. So she's using this sprint to intentionally try and weave AI in, not just as a tool, but as a creative partner. A thinking aid.
Precisely. She's prototyping a solution for the app.
Sure. But she's also prototyping a new way of working, designing with AI while staying firmly in control.
All right. So the week begins.
Yeah. Monday, she's facing that digital mountain of notes. What happens? Monday, the big task is understanding the problem, synthesizing all those user interview transcripts, customer feedback. It's the kind of thing that usually takes days.
And can be pretty mind numbing.
Totally. So, Kate's first try, she asks Chat GPT something pretty broad like read this feedback and tell me how to improve financial literacy for Gen Z in our app.
And the results were?
Not great. Underwhelming is the word the article used.
Which is super common when you first start, right? You expect magic, but the input matters hugely.
Absolutely, it's not telepathy. So Kate remembers seeing an infographic about good prompting. She refines her approach.
How specifically?
She gives the AIA role act as a product strategist. She provides context, Gen Z, the sprint goals, and she sets clear expectations. Find patterns and pain points, blockers, opportunity areas, much more structured.
Okay, better prompting. Did that solve everything?
Almost then came the AI hallucination.
The infamous hallucinations. What did it invent?
Well, its analysis mentioned issues like jargon and lack of control, which seemed right, but then it threw in need for blockchain wallets.
Whoa, okay. Where'd that come from exactly?
Kate's reaction. She realized it was just pulling in trendy tech concepts, not something actually present in her data. That's such a crucial moment. Don't trust, always verify. The golden rule. Her critical thinking was essential there.
So, how did she fix it?
Simple update to the prompt. She added constraints. Only use the uploaded data and cite specific examples. 18 seconds later, poof. No more blockchain.
Wow, 18 seconds.
Yeah. So, by lunchtime on Monday, she has this research summary that would have normally taken way longer. She combined that AI synthesis with her own insights.
That led to the problem statement.
Exactly. How might we help Gen Z users confidently take their first financial action in our app in a way that feels simple, safe, and puts them in control?
What was her big takeaway from day one?
She started thinking of the AI like a sharp intern.
A sharp intern. How so?
Fast, eager, pretty capable on specific tasks, but lacking deep context, needing clear directions, supervision, and sometimes getting things weirdly wrong.
So, your own curiosity, observation, empathy, those are still key to finding the real insights beyond what the AI spits out.
Absolutely. The AI summary is a starting point, not the final answer.
Okay, so problem to find onto Tuesday sketching solutions. How did the AI play a role there?
Tuesday was about diverging, generating lots of ideas. Kate first used AI for a bit of inspiration, like how she asked it for examples, like 10 unique ways top apps reduce anxiety for first time users. Interestingly, it only gave her 6,
Hmm, highlights the need to sometimes push the AI, maybe rephrase the prompt.
right? And she also spotted an accessibility issue. The AI completely missed because she hadn't prompted for that, specifically another learning moment.
But then she tried something more collaborative, didn't she? With her own sketches?
Yes, this is where it gets really interesting. First, she did some good old fashioned paper sketching, crazy eights. Rapid, human driven ideations,
Standard design sprint stuff.
right. Then she took pictures of her top 3 sketches, uploaded them, and prompted the AI to act as a product design strategist specializing in Gen Z and behavioral science.
Okay? Giving it a very specific expert persona. Again,
Exactly. She asked it to analyze her sketches, then generate 5 new concept directions each with a unique twist, a name, a summary, key differentiator, even design tone and psychological techniques.
wow, what kind of things did it come up with?
Some genuinely intriguing ideas, like a progress bar that starts at 20% filled just to give users an initial confidence boot.
Oh, that's clever. Behavioral nudge.
Yeah, or a concept like a stock bracket, kind of like a sports tournament bracket, but for helping first time investors choose stocks. Ideas she hadn't thought of.
So by the end of Tuesday, she had this mix of ideas, her own plus these AI augmented ones.
Yep, all aimed at that core problem, reducing fear, building confidence.
And her reflection for Tuesday?
That the AI definitely sparked unexpected directions, But she constantly had to pause and ask, okay, but does this actually feel right for Gen Z?
Does it align with what we heard? So empathy became the filter.
Totally. Empathy brought her back to the users and her skills and curiosity, experimentation, visual communication. Those were vital to take these fuzzy AI concepts and make them concrete enough to potentially test the AI gave sparks. She had to build the fire.
Moving on to Wednesday, decision time converging on a solution. The article mentions this was often Kate's least favorite day.
Yeah, critique and convergence can be tough after all the creative divergence. So she tried using AI for critique first.
How did that go?
She uploaded images of 3 concepts, asked for strengths and weaknesses, and it was actually helpful. It even flagged potential privacy concerns she hadn't fully considered.
So it spotted some blind spots.
It did. But then she tried something more ambitious. She asked the AI to simulate a team critique using the 6 thinking hats method.
Ah, trying to replicate that group dynamic.
Exactly. And the result, it was just dense, overwhelming, unfocused. It couldn't prioritize or catch the subtle nuances. Pretty much it couldn't instinctively feel the friction points or spot where the tone felt slightly off for Gen Z the way Kate could. Human judgment was clearly missing.
So what did she do?
She wisely stepped back from the AI, put the sketches up on a wall, got out the markers and sticky notes, and worked through it with her product partner, old school, human centered decision making.
Interesting. So AI critic. Helpful for some things. AI decision making. Not so much, at least not yet.
That seemed to be her experience. But she did bring AI back in later. Once they had a direction, she prompted it for feedback on their chosen storyboard flow. She was surprised. It gave detailed suggestions for design content, even micro interactions for each step of the user journey.
Quite granular and useful.
Okay, so by Wednesday end, she had a final storyboard ready to prototype. Her takeaway, the AI was good at exposing those blind spots and offering detailed feedback on a chosen path. But her critical thinking, her intuition, her ability to weigh complex factors, that was absolutely essential for making the actual decision, and empathy, again, walking through that flow as if she were a first-time user.
Which brings us to Thursday. Prototyping. Turning the storyboard into something interactive. Often a late night hustle for designers. Was the AI the magic bullet here?
Well, her first attempt was again with general-purpose JetGPT. She fed it the storyboard, asked for screens.
Let me guess, mixed results.
You got it. It gave her 3 three-quarter screens, not the 6 she needed, and couldn't produce a working Figma link shows the limits of general AI for highly specific creative tasks.
But then she switched tools.
Yes, she used Figma Make, which is an AI specifically designed to generate prototypes from props. She had beta access, she gave it her storyboard, the context.
And this time,
This time, it felt like magic. According to the article, Figma Make generated a complete interactive prototype, smooth animations, progress bars, customizable goals. Like she could even type in her own savings goal, like DeLong Coffee Maker, and the prototype updated something standard. Figma couldn't even do them.
wow. Okay. So specialized AI tools made a huge difference here, night and day.
Now it wasn't perfect. It missed the headers. Some buttons didn't work initially.
Sure, iteration is always needed.
Right. And the engineer on the project looked at the AI-generated code and wasn't thrilled, but agreed it was fine for a disposable prototype. The cool part was iterating with the AI. They prompted Figma Make, add an orange header, add navigation, and watch the design and code update almost in real time.
That sounds pretty powerful for rapid prototyping.
Definitely. And she used AI for other things too. Fed the prototype link to ChatGPT, got a decent first draft of a usability testing script complete with an observer checklist.
Okay, that's handy.
And then she did something really meta. She prompted ChatGPT to act like a Gen Z user and give feedback on the prototype.
Whoa! Simulate a user test.
Yeah, it generated a fake transcript screen by screen reactions. Kate found it impressive but also unsettling
How so unsettling?
because it looked like real feedback, but it lacked any actual user behavior data. Where did they really click? Where did they hesitate? It raised questions about how useful that simulated feedback truly is compared to testing with actual humans.
Makes sense? So, Thursday's reflection.
It was her most meta-day feeling like magic changing designs with words. But that simulated user test was a stark reminder. AI can mimic, but it doesn't experience critical. Thinking about the AI's output is absolutely non-negotiable. It's table stakes. Okay, finally, Friday. Testing day. The prototype meets real users.
Yeah, this is where it all comes together, right?
Absolutely. The culmination, Kate tested the prototype with 5 actual Gen Z users.
And how did that go? What was AI's role here?
Well, the testing itself was very human-centered. Kate moderated, observed users, hesitation, asked clarifying questions, dug deeper, all the things AI can't do. You need that human connection to understand the why behind the clicks. But AI helped afterwards, in the synthesis phase again. After each session, she dropped the transcript in her notes into ChatGPT, asking it to summarize. Summarize feedback into pain points, positives, pull out key quotes. And at the very end of the day, she asked it to identify the recurring themes across all 5 sessions.
Efficient. Did it work smoothly?
Mostly. But there was one final classic AI moment.
Another hallucination.
You guessed it. The AI summary of themes included the statement, "Users trust AI."
Oh boy. And did they not? A single user had mentioned AI or clicked the little Y, the suggestion link in the prototype, not one. Wow. A perfect final reminder.
Exactly. With AI, don't trust, always verify, critical thinking isn't going anywhere.
So, despite that last little hiccup, what was the overall outcome of the week?
She ended up with a validated concept, plus 2 really clear opportunities for improvement. Came out of the real user testing, like needing to explain the AI-generated plans better and celebrating small win moments more clearly.
And for Kate herself?
She felt transformed. She went from being AI curious, maybe a bit hesitant to AI, confident she saw how it could work for her. Her reflection on Friday, testing with real people, just hammered home the irreplaceable value of human observation and empathy. AI is great for speeding up the summary, but your critical thinking is vital to catch the nuances, the unspoken things, and yes, the occasional outright fabrication from the AI. Her next step, learn to talk to the AI. Even better, prompting is key.
Okay, so let's pull back. We've walked through Kate's whole week. What are the big takeaways here for you, the listener?
Well, first you saw Kate navigate this whole process, the curiosity, the friction points, the skepticism, but ultimately the insight. AI genuinely accelerated every single stage of her design sprint, from research synthesis to idea generation, critique, even spinning up that interactive prototype incredibly fast.
And this seems crucial. Speed wasn't the same as insight.
Exactly the core point. The AI produced outputs quickly, but it was Kate's fundamental designerly skills. That's a great term from the article that turned those outputs into meaningful insights. Skills like curiosity, empathy, keen observation, visual communication, experimentation, and underpinning it all, critical thinking and a willingness to learn, that growth mindset. She stayed in the driver's seat, verifying AI claims, tweaking prompts, applying her judgment where the automation just wasn't enough.
Absolutely. And her mindset shifted, didn't it?
Yeah, it seems like she stopped seeing AI as this abstract threat or maybe just a trend, and started seeing it as the smart intern, something she could direct critique, learn from, and collaborate with. She didn't just react to AI, she actively reshaped her design process with it.
So you've just journeyed through Kate's week. It's a fascinating look at the power, but also the very real pitfalls of weaving the AI into creative work.
Her experience really does offer a practical map for your own explorations, and it surfaces some deeper questions we all need to think about now. Is that jazz? Like, how do we make sure these AI augmented outputs are actually factual, not just plausible sounding fiction, especially when they can hallucinate so well? And how do we ethically treat AI generated user feedback? Knowing it's simulated, what weight should it carry?
And fundamentally, where does our human responsibility lie in this new way of working? Where are the ethical lines when we augment our processes like this?
So the question really isn't just, should designers use AI anymore? It's much more nuanced. It's become, how do you work with AI responsibly, creatively, consciously? What does your ideal AI assistant look like? What does it do for you? And maybe more importantly, how will integrating it truly change how you approach your work, your thinking, and your craft?
Hmm, something to definitely mull over. This has been really insightful. Any resources for our listeners who want to learn more?
Definitely. Check out the full article. We'll include those links in the notes. That's all for today's episode. Join us next time on AI for Creatives.